The NFL week rolls on, and with it comes another massive primetime showdown that has the entire football world buzzing. You know how it is. When the lights come on for a Thursday night game, everything feels a little bigger, the stakes feel a little higher, and every possession feels like a turning point. And this matchup fits that energy perfectly because we're talking about two franchises with enormous fan bases, explosive offenses, and defenses that have been under the microscope for all the wrong reasons. Now, as always, before we dive deep, it's worth reminding everyone that supporting the channel keeps these daily breakdowns coming. Less than 25% of you watching are actually subscribed. If you find value in the analysis, if you enjoy the picks, and if you want to help the channel grow toward that 2,000 goal, right now we cross 1,200, hit that subscribe button. It takes 1 second and helps in a huge way. This Thursday night, the Dallas Cowboys march into Detroit to take on the Lions, a game loaded with storylines, momentum swings, injury questions, betting value, and playoff implications that absolutely demand our attention. So let's buckle up, because this one is going to move fast. Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. Today we're breaking down the Cowboys vs. Lions Thursday night football matchup coming up on December 4th at 8:15 p.m. on Prime Video. And trust me, this is not just another game on the schedule. This is one of those matchups where styles clash, weaknesses get exposed, and strengths get tested in real time. One team enters blazing hot, riding momentum like a wave. The other is desperately trying to stop a skid before it turns into a full collapse. Both teams can score on anyone. Both teams have major defensive issues. And both are fighting to prove something on national television. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, who come into this matchup at 6-1. And let's be honest, they are playing like one of the hottest teams in the league right now. Their defense still has plenty of holes, but it has been playing better recently, even if statistically they remain near the bottom of the league in points allowed. But the real story with Dallas is the offense, because this unit is cooking. They're throwing the ball with confidence and rhythm, and unlike last season's offense, they can finally run the ball with consistency. When a team becomes multidimensional like that, especially with the personnel they have, it becomes incredibly difficult to prepare for. Dak Prescott is in a strong groove right now with 3,300 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and the ground game has been productive with Williams crossing 1,000 rushing yards. And that wide receiver duo, Pickens and Lamb, might be the most dynamic 1-2 punch in the league right now. The fact that Pickens was ever traded still feels unbelievable, but Dallas isn't complaining. Now flip to the other sideline. The 7-5 Detroit Lions are in a very different place mentally and emotionally. Their offense is still capable of lighting up any scoreboard in the league. They've remained a top 3 offense this season after ranking number 1 last year. But the problem lately is that every single game has turned into a shootout, and their defense is giving up way too many big plays. The Lions have been slipping these past weeks, and while they're still finding ways to put up points, their inability to get stops is starting to define their season. This matchup is a chance for them to get right at home, to stabilize the narrative, and to remind everyone why they opened the year as one of the most feared teams in the league. Jared Goff comes in with 3,100 yards, 25 touchdowns, and just 5 picks, which is incredibly efficient considering the pressure he's been under. Recently, the running back tandem of Gibbs and Montgomery continues to be one of the most reliable in the league. But the big storyline here, one that cannot be ignored, is the injury situation surrounding Detroit's pass-catching group. Sam Laporta has been banged up, and now Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable after going down in the previous game. He didn't produce any fantasy points last week, and the uncertainty around his availability for Thursday looms large. When your primary go-to target might not play, on a short week, in a game where you're facing one of the league's hottest teams, that becomes a massive issue. Let's look at the team stats. Dallas is averaging 29.3 points per game, throwing for 271 yards and rushing for 122 yards, but they're giving up 28.5 points per game, which is bottom 5 in the NFL. Detroit, meanwhile, is averaging 29.2 points, throwing for 238, rushing for 130, and allowing 22.8 points per game. On paper, both offenses are built to deliver fireworks. Both defenses have been shaky. But the Cowboys' offense is simply more balanced right now, and with Detroit missing key offensive pieces, this matchup becomes much more complicated for the home team. The win probability models still favor Detroit, giving them a 63.1% chance to win versus 36.7% for Dallas, and the Lions open as 3-point favorites with a total set at 54.5. Odds makers are expecting points, movement, and big plays, something both offenses can contribute to when they are fully healthy. But injuries change dynamics, change play calling, change confidence, and change matchups. And St. Brown's status is one of the biggest X factors of this entire matchup. And because of all that, this is where the prediction shifts. With the Lions' primary target questionable, their defense continuing to leak yards, and the Cowboys coming in with more offensive balance and better form, I'm rolling with the Dallas Cowboys to pull off the upset. I think Detroit fights hard and keeps things close into the fourth quarter, but in a game where execution matters, rhythm matters, and health matters, Dallas feels like the safer side right now. My final prediction: Cowboys 30, Lions 24. I'm taking Dallas +3, and I'm leaning slightly under on the 54.5 total. That's the breakdown for this Thursday night matchup. And now it's your turn. Who do you think wins this game? Drop your score predictions in the comments. And as always, if you enjoy these deep dive breakdowns and want expert-style game analysis delivered daily, make sure you're locked in. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join the Beyond the Box Score community, your home for smarter predictions, sharper insight, and high-level breakdowns every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.